Right team, just finished up a run here in the evening in California, and I thought I'd share with you the lessons and insights that I've taken away from the past 3 days spending time with some of the world's biggest 7, 8 and 9 figure online education entrepreneurs. So today we spent most of the day with Sabri Suby, who is Australian Shark Tank, founder of King Kong, the agency, legend. And yesterday we spoke to or heard from Deiss, I think $200 million entrepreneur. Yesterday afternoon was Wendt, who I think is currently doing around $850,000 per month. That was her last month. And also yesterday, I've spent a bunch of time, played paddle yesterday with Abdaal, so I spent a bunch of time listening to him and chatting to him and just exchanging ideas and thoughts, which has been awesome. So how about let me give you an insight from each of them. So today with Sabri Suby, his big thing is he's an ads expert. So he's a marketing and ads expert, but has recently in the last couple of years tripled down on organic content. He is making a huge push. The biggest takeaway from the whole 3 days is around the importance of having a really strong organic foundation, and in fact going super hard over the next couple of years. I will quote Sabri, bullish on content. So one really interesting takeaway that I took, which I asked him a question about, was he interestingly said that his most performant ad was 1 hour and 6 minutes long. Has the highest conversion rate out of all of the ads that he has and has tested. He's currently got one that's running at 1 hour 6 minutes long, and interestingly has the highest conversion rate. So he does this thing where he takes organic content that's performed really well. He then adds hard. He takes it off, adds or downloads it, then adds hard CTAs. The same CTA three times through every like 3 minutes of a long video, and then pumps that as an ad. So I thought that was really interesting. I got a bunch more takeaways, but that was an interesting one for me. Something to think about. You can run ads longer than 15, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And in fact, the highest performing ones for him are the really super long ones. Super interesting. Okay, the next one I will give you an insight from Wendt. So she did 850K last month, and been a fan of hers for a while. Super awesome talk yesterday. And I think what I found interesting was that most of her revenue comes from low ticket offers. So she is planning to pump out 30 to 50 courses next year. So that's like a launch every 1 to 2 weeks, which is insane. And I think the biggest thing that we're taking away is we're in a room with mainly high ticket education business owners, and she gets so much revenue volume from low ticket, but a lot of them ascend into her new high ticket program. So she has a $5,000 high ticket program that is lifetime access. I'm personally not a fan of lifetime access, but she has a different way that she does her high ticket, which is she's got a huge amount of assets and courses that her clients or students get, and then she just does 2 live calls a month, where apparently the students, someone told me this is a second hand, but students don't turn on their cameras or aren't allowed to talk. So it's one direction only. Okay, so also had Deiss yesterday, and he has been kind of digital marketing for a long time. And yesterday we were talking about the idea of a character diamond. So every character, and this is the key when you are a content creator, is that if you are bland, if you're boring, if you're not interesting, if you're not a character, then why the fuck would anyone listen to what you're saying? You're just boring and you just blend in. And so Ryan was talking about the character diamond, where this is kind of like a classic diamond shaped, which makes up what makes up a character, and they use this in the movies and TV. You have a North Star, which is kind of like what is their kind of like vision and mission. You then have like a contrasting star, so like an opposite star, which is really all about who are your kind of like opposing thesis. You know, what are the things that you don't like, and those are the things your antithesis to the way you do things, and that's what ends up making up like your unique mechanism and your unique way of doing things. Then on the sides, these are the most important parts of the diamond. The sides of the diamond, on one side are your core values. These are the things that you will die on the top of your hill to protect. And then on the other side of your diamond, you have your flaws, your quirks, the things that make you relatable. And he was kind of explaining how the quirks and the flaws and the core values are the most important things to define as your character. So if you can't roll off the tongue, like, what are your flaws? What are the things that are kind of like the things that you kind of like a bit not ashamed of, but self-conscious about. There's plenty I'm self-conscious about, but it really made me think about how I need to be clear on what those are, because I think we shy away from those. We don't want to voice those. We don't want to kind of talk about those, let alone remind ourselves of what the fuck those are. But those are the key to cutting through the noise with your marketing. So really getting clear on how to define those. And then the final part to this, which isn't part of the diamond, but it's like your brandable identity, or I can't remember if that's exactly what he calls it. Look how stunning it is, by the way. Fucking hell. We were on a hot air balloon at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. this morning with everyone. So cool. Brandable hooks, or can't remember if that was it, but yes, brandable hooks. So I'll give you an example. Most of my videos, and it was actually Ali Abdaal who reminded me of this. He was like, we were talking and he was like, yeah, dude, I think I followed you because like I noticed all of your videos were in black and white. And I was like, fuck, yeah, that's true. Even I forgot that my videos are in black and white, and that was an active decision making 2 years ago. I actively decided to make my videos black and white so I could stick out. And I remember like my editor Victor messaged me a couple of months ago. He was like, Tom, let's make some colored videos and shake things up. And I was like, nah, that's like my black and white videos are the reasons for people to kind of like stop and be like, wait, what's different about this? And then they're like, okay. Victor's done a really cool thing, by the way, when it comes to my YouTube videos, is that if you might have noticed this in my edited videos, during the calls to action, he puts those segments in color, which act as a pattern interrupt and a re-hook for retention. So see if you notice that. So some other examples of brandable hooks. Alex Hormozy, back in the gym launch days, used to wear a mustache. And even a few years ago, I used to have a mustache. It just so happened to coincide with my fucking most awful time of my life. And so I will never have a mustache ever again. And now Ryan made an interesting observation that like, he used to have the mustache and now he wears the nose strip, the black nose strip. And he was like, apparently he texted Alex once and was like, dude, you moved the hair from below your nose to above it. And so what are the things that are brandable hooks for you? So for me, I used to wear a lot of hats. Always, do wear hats. Collared shirts in my videos is intentional. What are some of the things that one of the girls, Amanda, who was on that, over the last few weeks, she's kind of infamous for having pink hair. So she has pink hair, and so that's kind of like a notable thing that's like, oh, okay, so it could be things that you wear, it could be on your face, on your body, whatever. But what are your brandable hooks? Okay, last up, let's give a shout out to our boy Ali Abdaal, and who I wrote him a little thank you card because I said to him, I was like, dude, you know, I first got into making YouTube videos 5 years ago, or trying to get into making YouTube videos and become a YouTube creator because of his videos teaching how to edit. And I think I took his course on like Skillshare on how to edit YouTube videos. And I did that. And, you know, now I know how to edit videos because of him. And so if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been sat there next to him or playing paddle with him yesterday. And, yeah, wouldn't be in that room if it wasn't for him. So I have, you know, a huge amount of my success to thank for him, you know, to be grateful to him for. So, yesterday he gave a talk just around a little table because, you know, by a long way he has the biggest YouTube audience out of everyone there. Although a lot of people crushing it on YouTube there, and really interesting to hear about his team makeup. So I think he has like the big thing was like he has a YouTube producer who he has actually in person. So he's now hired someone in person to work with him in Hong Kong to help him with ideation, planning, and the filming. And he said he tried to hire that person remotely, or have that person be a remote role whilst he moved to Hong Kong recently, and just found it too hard, so ended up hiring someone in Hong Kong. I have a ton more takeaways. I've taken a shitload of notes, and very inspiring. You know, our mentor who was hosting the event is Taki Moore, and just a big shout out to who I believe is the numero uno in the industry, and absolutely incredible the amount of attention to detail at this event. You know, we've had 3 days. Going on the balloon ride this morning was so fucking cool. You know, being able to like be in that balloon next to him, and you know, we all had, there was like 6 or 7 of us in each in a balloon, and during the balloon ride we each got 8 minutes to, everyone would focus in on each one person's bottleneck and to solve it. And so, you know, I had James Kemp next to me, which is awesome. Shout out to Sean, if Sean sees this, as Taki's video guy was there. Taki was there in the balloon with me, and everyone kind of helped me. We talked about what my bottleneck is, which is at the moment not having the capacity to take on more clients, which is a good problem to have, but you know, I want to have big ambitions to make a big impact. And so that's going to be the focus for me over the next kind of like 6 to 9 months. Increase capacity, be able to take on more clients, and then really push hard and go big time on back into marketing, because it's been a bit of a year where I've taken the foot off the gas on marketing to build like a really solid spine based on robust data, and yeah, be in a position to grow the business. So okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We've got last dinner tonight, and then I've got a couple of days just to chill out, decompress before heading back to London, where I've got a kind of a 4-week sprint to relaunch or launch the next version of Scale 20, which I'm really excited about, and help even more business educators scale to 7 figures, like we had a bunch of epic clients do this year. Okay, if you're, just a heads up, going to be more content's going to be coming over the next few weeks until the end of the year, and then I guess that was sick. I'll see you in the next one.